Welcome to Doncast Deep Dive. This is where we take a stack of sources. In this case, it's the really personal notes and reflections from the creative force Don Phondeaux, and we pull out the most important insights. Our whole mission here is to give you a shortcut, to get you right to the heart of his work.
And the series we're digging into, Compilations from a Don, is just perfect for that. It's so well known for blending these incredible soundscapes with really deep personal essays.
Absolutely. He captures these cultural moments and lived experiences in such a unique way. And today we're really zeroing in on one of my favorites. This is Deep Dive Episode 8, all about the compilation titled New Moon, New Muse.
Right, and Don Phondeaux himself calls the series documentation. So our goal here, I think, is to unpack the story behind this one, this intensely personal chapter. We're trying to see how a fleeting connection can turn into something, well, something lasting, into art.
Okay, let's get right into it. The origin story. Don Phondeaux's original blog post lays it all out. The setup is it's key. He was looking for reconnection, a sort of spiritual reset.
But that's not what he finds.
Not at all. He stumbles into this brand new connection that just completely changes his path.
And the timing, the psychological context here is fascinating. He says he was, and I'm quoting, wandering aimlessly through the dark. So he's vulnerable, he's searching, and this muse appears and amuses him, intrigues him.
Distracts him.
Exactly, distracts him enough to give him what he calls a temporary home. It's like this sudden anchor that lets him quiet all that internal chaos.
And it's all wrapped up in that title, isn't it? New Moon, New Muse. This all kicks off right before a new moon, a time for new beginnings. He calls the thrill something that comes once in a blue moon. So right away, it's rare, it's intense.
But it's also temporary, and that's the engine for the whole thing. He's very clear that nothing was set in stone. The nights were reckless in the best way. It was this mutual understanding to just live in that moment.
I love that phrase he uses, that the city lights made these fleeting moments that felt more permanent than they should have.
That's the tension right there. The knowing it's temporary, but the feeling that it's eternal. That's where the creativity comes from.
And that tension, it came with some unspoken rules. Or maybe a lack of rules about commitment. He's so transparent about it in the source. He just says, there was no need for promises when the present moment was intoxicating enough.
It's just so direct. It points to this really mature, intense way they approached the whole thing. They both understood the stakes, which is probably why he uses that line. The dangers of a damsel's distress didn't matter. Nobody makes it out alive here anyway.
Let's pause on that phrase, damsels' distress, because when he uses it, it feels less like he's belittling emotion and more like he's talking about the baggage, the kind of baggage that can turn a beautiful temporary thing into, a source of regret.
I think that's exactly it. He's saying they just sidestepped all that potential fallout by being honest from the start. It was non-committal. His focus was on the experience. He writes that she set her intentions to make the most of Adon's time, and I let her.
The rules were clear. We never spoke of the future. Tomorrow was never promised in those days.
Which brings us right to the art, the aftermath. After the connection ends, he says, all that's left are the echoes of those nights. And he doesn't describe the echoes in big, grand terms. It's all sensory.
So specific. The glow of passing headlights.
Yeah, and my favorite one, the warmth of her hand lingering in spaces she no longer fills. I mean, what a way to describe absence. The memory of presence is what defines the empty space.
And I think this is the key insight, really. This is the mechanism we were looking for. His contentment doesn't come from the person. It comes from the art she inspired. He says, I honored her in ink, in melodies, in fleeting moments, sealed in rhythm.
Right. By sealing it in rhythm, he takes the emotional bias out of it. The nostalgia is still there, but the experience becomes this pure transformative thing, not a lost love.
But it came at a price.
A huge price. He says his ink was shy, but after this, it runs dry. All that creative energy was just poured out, consumed. So he's left in this in-between state, somewhere in between the dark sky and the new moon, exhausted but full.
So the compilation itself, New Moon, New Muse, it really is this emotional document. He calls it a soundtrack to moments that feel like forever, even when they aren't.
Yeah, and it's for a very specific listener. It's for anyone who has loved and lost, and for the joy and the sorrow that comes with every fleeting romance. The big message is that short stories matter. Their brevity doesn't make them any less meaningful.
And we find out this was a really private thing for him at first. One of many compilations he kept to himself, only talking about it with his closest friends.
And he explains why. He says it was for me to reminisce, but, and this is the important part, to remember what once was without missing those moments. It's a tool, a way to manage nostalgia so the past makes you richer, not sadder.
Okay, but can I just push back on that for a second? I mean, I love the philosophy of it, the gratitude. But isn't there a bit of a power dynamic here? He's the one controlling the narrative, turning her into a muse. He even says she was making the most of Adon's time. Doesn't that risk kind of reducing her to an object of inspiration?
That is a really, really fair critique. And the source doesn't dive into the ethics of the whole muse-artist thing directly, but it does keep coming back to that mutual understanding. Tomorrow was never promised.
Yeah.
That suggests it was a shared decision, you know? So the art becomes his way of processing that shared choice. And by keeping it private at first, he really solidifies its purpose as personal closure, not public declaration.
Okay, that makes sense. And that idea of closure is so interesting. He sees the compilation as a type of closure that actually keeps you open. It doesn't shut you down.
It's true. It's the kind of closure that reminds you, as he puts it, not to chase the bullets you dodge. By honoring the memory in art, he makes peace with it. He can feel gratitude for the experience, not pain for the ending.
And he's so direct about bitterness. He says, we don't have to be salty when looking back at what turned into ruin. I think that's such a profound idea. Ruin doesn't have to cancel out the beauty that came before it.
Exactly. The whole compilation is a display of gratitude, a testament that he was present, that he left nothing unfelt. And in doing that, he successfully captured another temporary forever.
Okay, so let's get into the soundscape. The nuts and bolts. The whole thing is grounded in Afrobeats and Afrofusion, and the track list is so deliberate, it mirrors the whole emotional arc of the romance.
Right. And for anyone who might not be super familiar, Afrobeats as a genre, it's all about blending West African styles like high life with elements of hip-hop, R&B, and dancehall. It's very rhythmic, very percussive.
And the compilation starts with Foreigner by Nonso Amadi. That track just sets the mood immediately.
It really does. Don Phondeaux calls it a sweet serenade, and from a production standpoint, you can hear why. Amadi uses these traditional polyrhythms, but the whole sound is sparse. It's modern. That low-end focus and the steady 44 kick, it gives it this sweet, almost melancholic vibe. Perfect for a slow dance right at the start.
Then you get Alive by Damio Neru, and that brings in the complexity, the realism. He says it's about a romance that's both soothing and stimulating. You can feel the stakes getting a little higher there.
And then the peak, Ecstasy by Ogrania, featuring Molly. This is the rush. The production's a bit more dynamic, a little faster maybe, but it's still what he calls a calm thrill. The compliment he pays Molly, calling her a siren I'd wreck my ship for. It just highlights how irresistible that pull was in that moment.
And right after that emotional peak, it shifts hard into the physicality of it all. Surround Me by Iotomy. He says it speaks to that intense physical connection, the kind that makes it hard to let go. You can just imagine this deep, steady bass line.
Which is then cranked up even higher with Wickedest Wine by Cracker Malio. Phondeaux picked this one for intense sensual stimulation. You can probably hear a lot of dancehall influence in that one sharp snares, a driving rhythm. It's hypnotic. It's the absolute high point.
Then there's a little pivot towards reflection. Western's Wonder Woman, this is the one that connects directly back to the muse. He calls her a Wonder Woman that I'd rather wander with than wonder where it'll all end. It's got this energy, like tequila energy, he says.
And the whole thing wraps up with Yoruba Samurai by Latipo. An amazing choice. It brings out the lover's warrior, but it's not aggressive. It's controlled. Latipo's melodic rap style gives it this smooth, confident energy. It's like closing the chapter with dignity and self-worth.
So we've broken down the experience, the reflection, the music. What does it all mean? What are the big takeaways from New Moon, New Muse?
I think fundamentally it's a guide to embracing new beginnings, even when they show up when you're feeling lost. And it's a masterclass in honoring these fleeting connections. It proves that meaning isn't just for things that last forever.
And maybe most importantly, it's about finding that gratitude in every chapter, no matter how short, and about keeping your heart open for whatever comes next. It's really a guide to capturing a temporary forever without getting salty about the end.
Which leaves us with the final thought from Don Phondeaux. Something for you to really think about. He asked a very simple question that builds on everything we've talked about. Who or what has been your muse lately? It just asks you to look at your own life, at those intense temporary experiences that have shaped you.
Thank you for joining this Doncast Deep Dive into compilations from a Don. We are at the end of this exploration, but the journey definitely doesn't stop here.
If any of this resonated with you, we really encourage you to go deeper into the Don's world.
You can visit the Don's domain at donphondeaux.com. There are more playlists, more reflections, more of these written journeys.
And if you're stepping outside, don't forget to let your style smile for you with Estilo Phondeaux.
Enjoy loudly!
Stay sound.